The Gold Saints are certainly the most remarkable characters in all the sagas of Saint Seiya. However, among all the eras, there is always a saint who stands out from the others, whether for strength, wisdom, battles, or any other reason. And among these Gold Saints, there's always one who stands out for being especially respected. Hello, Saints and Amazons! Welcome to the channel Sempre Quis Saber. I'm Wes, and today I'm going to show you who are the 5 most respected Gold Saints in the history of Saint Seiya. Each of these saints is from a different generation, and I chose each of them for their legendary status and for being respected in their respective eras. So go ahead and comment where you're watching this video from. And of course, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let's get into this awesome video. Saint number 1, Avenir of Aries. To kick off our list in style, we need to talk about Avenir of Aries. Avenir's story is, without a doubt, one of the most tragic and inspiring in the entire franchise. He doesn't originally belong to the 16th century. Avenir is a remnant from a future where Athena's army was completely massacred by Hades and his twin gods, Thanatos and Hypnos. In his original timeline, he saw his Athena's head being cut off and the world plunging into eternal darkness. With the help of the god Kronos, Avenir managed to travel to the past, arriving precisely in the 16th century, just before the holy war of that era. He was found by Seiji Hakurei, who at the time were young knights. Imagine the impact. A gold saint appears out of nowhere, coming out of a cursed golden urn and wearing the armor of Aries. He was carrying a sadness that no one could understand. Avenir became a pillar of strength for the sanctuary of that time. He was respected not only for his destructive power, but for the urgency with which he protected peace, knowing exactly what would happen if they failed. On the battlefield, Avenir was a master of starlight extinction and the crystal wall. His presence was decisive for Seiji Hakurei to survive and become the Grand Master, the Master of Jamiel in the 18th century. Avenir sacrificed himself to protect Athena of the 16th century, ensuring that history would not repeat itself. His memories and his Cosmo remained. They remained sealed in the armor of Aries, which explains why centuries later, Zion felt such a deep connection when touching the golden armor. He is the ultimate symbol that a knight never fights just for himself, but for the future of humanity. Knight number 2, Ilias of Leo. Moving forward to the 18th century, we find the one who is considered by many, both inside and outside the sanctuary, as the greatest gold knight of his era, Ilias of Leo. Ilias was much more than a warrior. He was a wise man, someone who had such a deep connection with nature that he was able to hear the wind, the trees, and the very earth itself. He was the first to reach the 8th sense in that generation, allowing an understanding of life and death that went beyond the battlefield. Ilias was the older brother of Sisypho of Sagittarius and the father of Regulus of Leo. His respect came from his unwavering stance, even while suffering from a terminal lung disease that drastically limited his physical endurance. While other knights focused only on military training, Ilias lived isolated in the forests, protecting the natural balance. When Hades' army began to move, he faced the judge of the underworld, Rhadamanthys of Wyvern, in an epic battle. Even weakened by illness and protecting his young son, Ilias demonstrated the power of lightning plasma on a divine scale. He didn't fight with hatred, but with the serenity of someone who is part of the ecosystem. Rhadamanthys, who always despised humans, felt genuine fear in the face of the magnitude of Ilias's Cosmo. His death was not a defeat, but a transition, leaving Sisyphus with the burden of leading the sanctuary and Regulus with the quest for a power that could surpass the gods. He is remembered as the hero who taught that true power comes from harmony, not brute force. Number 3, Kaiser of Leo. Still in the 18th century, but in a different continuity, we have Kaiser of Leo. If he embodies the calm of nature, Kaiser is the relentless ferocity of justice. Guardian of the 5th house of the sanctuary and next dimension, Kaiser is known for being extremely strict. He accepts nothing less than perfection and total loyalty to Athena. What makes him unique and deeply respected is the fact that he is always accompanied by 2 giant lions, Goldie and Blondie. These animals are not just pets. They possess Cosmo and are able to identify whether a person has evil intentions or is kind-hearted. Kaiser tested the determination of characters like Shun of Andromeda and Tenma of Pegasus in a brutal way. He has a technique called Power Capsule, which is executed with a speed and precision that challenge the senses even of other gold saints. The respect for Kaiser comes from his integrity. He was one of the first to suspect the betrayal that was happening in the shadows of the sanctuary during the rise of Odysseus of Ophiuchus. Unlike other Leos, Kaiser is more pragmatic. He doesn't let himself be carried away by petty emotions. For him, being a gold saint means being the ultimate barrier between the gods and humanity. His physical strength is monstrous, and his will is so solid that not even the most powerful illusions can bend him. Kaiser represents the most indomitable aspect of the Leo sign. He was one of the pillars that kept the sanctuary standing during the Spectre's invasions in Next Dimension. Number 4, Aiolos of Sagittarius. There is no list of the most respected figures in Saint Seiya without mentioning the man who started the entire classic saga, Aiolos of Sagittarius. In the 20th century, Aiolos was the favorite to become the Grand Master, surpassing even Saga of Gemini in terms of character and purity of spirit. When Saga succumbed to his evil side and tried to assassinate baby Athena with the golden dagger, it was Aiolos who intervened, rescuing the goddess and facing the entire sanctuary army alone. The respect for Aiolos transcends his physical life. Even though he died very young, his spirit continued to inhabit the Sagittarius cloth, appearing at critical moments to guide Seiya and his friends. Aiolos left a testament on the wall of the House of Sagittarius, which became the mantra of every fan of the series. To the young ones who arrive here, I entrust Athena to your care. This phrase is not just a request. It is the transfer of a divine responsibility. At the Wailing Wall during the Hades saga, the return of Aiolos to join his companions was the pinnacle of his journey. There we saw that the respect the other gold saints had for him was absolute. He led the firing of the golden arrow that pierced the Wailing Wall, opening the way to the Elysian fields. His Cosmo was always at the level of a god when it came to protecting justice. His technique, the atomic thunder, and his mastery over the golden bow and arrow makes him a legendary archer, defining what it means to be a knight. Number 5. Seiya of Sagittarius. We have finally arrived at the 21st century where the former Pegasus Knight now occupies the position that was always his by destiny. Seiya of Sagittarius. In Saint Seiya Omega, Seiya is not just a gold knight. He is the legendary Sagittarius Knight. The respect he commands is global. He is the reference for the new generation of Bronze Knights, especially for Kuga of Pegasus. Seiya has gone through battles against gods who would have destroyed the world several times, Poseidon and Hades, and more recently, Mars, Pallas, and the god of time, Saturn. As a gold saint, Seiya has refined his fighting style. He now uses the cosmic star arrow, a technique that channels not only his own Cosmo, but the hope of all humanity. Even when his wings were broken, or when he was marked by dark stains that prevented him from using his Cosmo, Seiya never backed down. He embodies the miracle. The respect he receives from his friends, like Shiryu and Ogashin Wiki, shows that he is the heart of Athena's army. In Omega, we see a more mature Seiya who carries scars from decades of war. He is no longer the impulsive boy who rushed in without thinking. He is a strategist and a mentor. When he puts on his evolved gold armor, enemies tremble, because they know they're facing the man who wounded the bodies of gods. Seiya of Sagittarius, in the 21st century, is living proof that human determination can overcome any fate imposed by the heavens. He is, without a doubt, the most respected gold saint in recent history, closing the cycle that Aiolos began. So, what did you think of this lineage of legends? It's impressive how each of these men, in different centuries, maintain the same spirit of sacrifice. Avenir of Aries is the one who carried the trauma of an Athena who lost her life in the future, in an apocalyptic war against Hades. He went back to the past in the 16th century to make sure the course of the future would change and that Athena could smile and win again. Without him, the story of Lost Canvas would be very different. These 5 knights show that being a lead isn't just about having the strongest attack, but about having the most unshakable character. Whether it's Ilias with his connection to the earth, Kaiser with his fierce sense of justice, Aiolos with his eternal sacrifice, or Seiya being a living legend, all of them represent the pinnacle of the knights responsible for protecting the earth. Comment below which one of these is your favorite, or if you think any other gold saint deserve to be on this list of the most respected. Don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel about the theories of the Heaven Saga, which is coming soon. And, of course, thank you very much for watching until the end, and see you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity.